For so many of us, the very idea of alone time, well, it can bring up this feeling of dread, maybe, or even loneliness.
Yeah.
It's not always about finding peace, is it?
Not immediately, no.
But what if embracing solitude isn't just about coping? What if it's about actively cultivating, like, genuine happiness and really connecting with who you are?
That's exactly the shift we're diving into today. Welcome. We're exploring how to be happy alone. It's a journey, really, focused on building a strong, positive relationship with yourself. And that's true no matter your personality or, what your social life looks like right now.
Okay, so where are we drawing from?
Our main source is a great piece from Healthline. It's medically reviewed called How to Be Happy Alone, 20 Ways to Be Your Own Best Friend.
Ah, I saw that one. Updated recently, right? April.
Just this past April, yeah. And we're also weaving in some complementary ideas about self-reflection and emotional well-being from Tiny Buddha. That's a nice layer.
Good. So the mission for you listening.
Well, our goal today is to unpack some really actionable strategies and shift perspectives a bit.
Give you a shortcut, maybe.
Kind of a shortcut, yeah, to understanding how to thrive in your own company, how to turn solitude into a source of strength, of joy even.
Because, like Healthline says, that relationship with yourself, it's a worthy investment.
Always worthwhile, definitely.
Okay, let's get into it then. That first hurdle.
Yeah.
It seems like for a lot of people, whether you're naturally introverted or, a big extrovert, it's just getting comfortable being alone without that FOMO, that feeling you're missing out.
Exactly. And Healthline's starting point nails this. They say building a good relationship with yourself is a worthy investment.
Right.
And that's true however you feel now about being alone. It's about cultivating something internal, not just relying on what's happening outside.
And one of the quickest ways we sabotage that internal work is, well, comparison.
Especially online, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to look at someone's feed and compare your social life, your perceived happiness against their highlights.
But the crucial thing Healthline points out is we really have no way of knowing if someone with a bunch of friends and a stuffed social calendar is actually happy.
Good point.
Social media just doesn't tell the whole story. It really doesn't.
So what do they suggest? Just log off?
They suggest a kind of test run. Ban yourself from social media for 48 hours. See how it feels.
Okay, 48 hours?
If that feels like too much, maybe try a strict daily limit, like 10 or 15 minutes, especially if scrolling usually makes you feel left out or, stressed. It's about taking back that mental space.
That makes sense, taking back space.
Yeah.
And speaking of distractions, our phones, they're always there. Are we ever really alone if our phone is right there?
That's such a good question. It really changes the game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Healthline has a specific tip for this. Turn your phone off and stash it away for 1 hour. Just 1 hour.
Okay.
To really reconnect with yourself and explore what it feels like to be truly alone. And they suggest using that time productively, maybe jotting down things you might enjoy doing when you are truly alone. It's about intentional solitude.
Creating an intentional void almost.
Exactly. And once the phone's away, that quiet often brings up another challenge. The discomfort of doing, well, nothing, just sitting with your thoughts.
That can be surprisingly hard.
It really can. So Healthline has this simple experiment. Set a timer. Just 5 minutes.
Only 5.
Just 5 to start. With no television, music, internet, podcasts, books, nothing.
Okay.
If pure stillness is too much at first, they suggest alternatives, like repetitive tasks. Knitting, maybe dribbling a basketball, washing dishes, something simple.
Interesting. Busy hands, quiet mind.
Sort of. The point is giving your mind some new freedom to just wander. And they do note it might take time to get used to that freedom. It's a process.
Okay, so once you've maybe found some comfort in just being alone, not necessarily doing anything, what's next? Healthline talks about actively engaging with yourself.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Moving from just being to actively doing things that enrich your time alone.
And the first one they mention is taking yourself on a date. I admit it sounds a little cliche.
It can sound that way initially, yeah, but it's framed as a really powerful tool.
Okay, how so?
The advice is, imagine you're genuinely trying to impress someone on a date. Where would you take them? What cool things would you want them to see or experience?
Right.
Then do that for yourself.
And,
they cheekily point out it's a lot cheaper to pay for one than it is for two.
True.
But seriously, it's about showing yourself that level of care and consideration. Fosters self-worth. They say start small if you need to, like just sit in a coffee shop for 10 minutes, observe, be present, then maybe try bigger things.
I like that. Starting small. Okay, what about moving your body? Exercise. We know it's good for mood generally,
Mm.
but what's a specific angle for being happy alone?
Well, besides the endorphins, that can make you feel happy.
Right, the runner's high.
Yeah. Healthline emphasizes the act of choosing to move your body for yourself. It builds this sense of self-efficacy, like, I can take care of my own well-being.
Okay, so it's about agency too.
Exactly. It reinforces your capacity for independent happiness. And again, start small, just morning stretches or a 10-minute walk, build up gradually.
And they mentioned the gym.
Yeah, they say hitting the gym alone can be a great starting point if going out places alone feels a bit daunting at first. It's a structured environment.
Makes sense. And then there's nature. Just
Yeah.
being outside. Seems almost too simple.
Simple but profound, and backed by research. Healthline shares this fact. Research shows that 120 minutes or more a week spent in nature can improve symptoms of depression and lower blood pressure.
Wow, 120 minutes, 2 hours.
Spread across the week, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just about being outside, it's about actively engaging, absorbing the sights, the sounds, the smells, feeling the breeze. It grounds you, offers a sense of calm that doesn't need anyone else.
That's a lovely thought. Grounding. Okay, and leaning into the perks of being alone. What does that look like practically?
Yeah, this is the fun part. Healthline gets specific, like, take up all the space in the kitchen when you're cooking. Don't worry about anyone else.
Nice.
Or if you have a hobby, spread all your materials out across the floor and just leave them there. No need to tidy up immediately.
Total freedom.
Total freedom. And they even suggest have a dance party. Dance like no one's watching because, well, they aren't.
Love it.
It's about really utilizing that physical and mental space you have when you're alone, arranging your world exactly how you want it, no compromises. It's incredibly liberating.
It does sound empowering. Okay, let's shift gears slightly, moving from those external actions to more internal cultivation.
Exactly. Building up your inner world.
Starting with gratitude. We hear about gratitude journals a lot, but how does Healthline connect it specifically to happiness alone?
They point to the research again. Research shows that gratitude can boost feelings of happiness and hopefulness. Concrete benefits.
The advice is simple. Make a list. Mental or physical, doesn't matter. Things you appreciate, big or small. And the key is to revisit that list when you're feeling down. It shifts your focus, consciously, to what's good, to abundance.
A mental reset tool.
Precisely. And related to that inner world, tackling the inner critic, that negative voice that can get so loud when we're alone.
Yeah. That's a tough one for many of us.
It really is. Healthline puts it bluntly. Harsh self-judgment eats away at your self-confidence and happiness. The strategy is to consciously work on turning towards that more positive voice, to actively check yourself. Are you judging yourself more harshly than you judge anyone else? Probably.
Oof. Probably.
It's about reminding yourself deliberately of the many good qualities you possess. It's practicing self-compassion.
Okay. And what about meals? You mentioned taking up space in the kitchen, but this next point seems different. It's about elevating solo dining.
Yes, moving beyond just, prepackaged food in front of the TV.
Guilty sometimes. We all are. But Healthline encourages making an effort. Prepare a fabulous meal for one. Like, really make it nice.
How nice are we talking?
Set the table properly. Use a cloth napkin. Maybe light a candle. Basically, do whatever you would do if you were throwing a dinner party.
Huh. For yourself.
For yourself, because, as they say, you're worth it all by yourself. It transforms eating alone from a default into an act of self-care. Self-respect, really.
I really like that framing.
Okay?
And creative outlets.
Yeah.
For that person who's always thought, oh, I'd love to learn guitar, or I wish I could paint.
Alone time is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Healthline says the point is to try something new and different, to take a step outside your comfort zone.
What kind of things?
Could be anything. A home improvement project, learning an instrument, like you said, painting, writing a short story, whatever sparks your interest.
Do you have to do it totally alone?
Not necessarily. You can teach yourself or you can enroll in a class. The key is the exploration. And importantly, they add, it's okay to try something and then decide it's not for you. No pressure. It's about the process of trying and discovering.
Right, the exploration itself is the point. Okay, so we've covered a lot of strategies. How do these fit into, long-term well-being? Sustain happiness when you're alone?
Good question. It's about building these into sustainable practices. One point Healthline makes is about routines. Even good routines can become ruts, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So they suggest actively freshening things up occasionally. Keep your mind engaged.
How?
Simple things maybe. Rearrange your furniture. Paint one wall a new color. Start a small garden. Clean out a closet. Or just find a new coffee shop to visit. Little changes can pull you out of that feeling of stagnation, remind you of your own agency.
Injecting novelty, I like that. And what about dealing with, well, life? Stressors happen. How do we strengthen coping skills when we're primarily relying on ourselves?
Healthline uses this really powerful reflective technique. They ask you to remember that time something bad happened and you figured out how to deal with it.
Drawing on past resilience.
Exactly. Tap into that. Apply that same mindset, that same inner strength to whatever you're facing now. It's a way to remind yourself, as they put it, you're probably a lot stronger and more resilient than you realize. Look at your own track record.
That's good confidence booster. Okay, now this next one. It feels a bit counterintuitive for a deep dive on being happy alone. Nurturing relationships.
It might seem that way, but it's not a contradiction. It's about balance.
Okay.
Healthline is clear. While learning to be happy alone is vital, close social connections are still important. Humans are social creatures, fundamentally.
So it doesn't mean becoming a hermit.
Not at all. It means intentionally making space for both quality alone time and quality connection. They suggest actively arranging visits with friends or family, maybe hanging out with colleagues after work sometimes.
Or just reaching out.
Yeah, even calling someone you haven't heard from in a long time and have a meaningful conversation. Happiness alone doesn't and shouldn't mean only being alone.
Right. Balance. Now, forgiveness. That's an interesting one. How does that link to personal happiness, especially when alone?
The link is quite direct, according to Healthline. They state, among other health benefits, the act of forgiveness may reduce stress, anxiety, and depression.
Wow.
And crucially, it's framed as being less about making the other person feel better than it is about making yourself feel better.
So it's self-liberation.
Exactly. Releasing your own burden, letting go of resentment that's weighing you down.
Do you have to actually tell the person?
Not necessarily. They specifically mention that writing a letter forgiving someone who's hurt you without actually sending it totally counts.
That's useful.
And a vital part, too, not forget to forgive yourself, too. That's often the hardest part.
True. Okay, we talked about exercise, but what about just basic holistic healthcare?
Absolutely fundamental. Healthline stresses that the basics, eating a balanced diet, exercising regularly, and getting plenty of sleep should be non-negotiables in your self-care, your alone time routine. And beyond that, they emphasize prioritizing things like an annual physical and see your doctor to manage any pre-existing health conditions. They frame this as a tangible way to foster a good relationship with yourself. It's showing respect for your physical well-being.
Taking care of the vessel.
Precisely. And looking ahead, making plans for the future. How does that fit in? It provides hope and direction. Healthline recommends actually writing down where you want to be in 5 years or in 10 years, both personally and professionally.
Like goal setting.
Yes, and thinking about the steps needed to get there. They suggest revisiting this maybe once a year. Why? Because having plans for tomorrow might help you feel more hopeful and optimistic today. It gives your present solitude a sense of purpose, of moving towards something.
A sense of trajectory. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We've covered so much ground. But there's one final really vital point about self-care. Knowing our limits.
Yes, this is crucial. Sometimes all the self-care strategies, the exercise, the gratitude lists, they just aren't enough to shake really deep feelings of sadness or loneliness. And Healthline is very clear. If you're feeling overly stressed and finding it difficult to cope, or if you're experiencing symptoms of anxiety or depression, it's time to reach out to a professional, a therapist.
Don't wait for a crisis.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway here. You don't have to wait for a crisis point to get into therapy. They explicitly say simply wanting to get better and spending time alone is a perfectly good reason to make an appointment.
That's really important to hear. It's proactive self-care.
It's a sign of strength, truly, not weakness.
Okay, so wrapping this all up.
Yeah.
It feels like the core message is that being happy alone isn't something that just happens. It's not passive.
Not at all. It's an active, ongoing process. It involves self-discovery, deliberate self-care, and intentionally engaging with your own company.
And recognizing that while connections are important, a huge chunk of our happiness comes from that internal relationship, the one we build with ourselves.
Beautifully put. And that leads to a final thought, maybe.
Yeah.
If cultivating happiness alone is really about building this inner well of contentment, how might dedicating regular time to things like mind wandering or those self-dates, how might that not just make you happier when you're by yourself,
Mm.
but actually deepen all your other relationships too, because you're bringing a more complete, more fulfilled, more authentically you to every single interaction.
That's a powerful thought to leave people with, bringing your whole self to everything. So maybe the call to action for you listening
Yeah.
is just pick one thing, maybe two, from everything we've discussed. Something that resonated. Try it out this week.
Just try it and notice, see what difference it makes for you.